first grade. Today we are going to be working on Chapter 8, Lesson 9. So I need you to make sure that you have your pencil ready to go and your math book is sitting in front of you. And I need you to turn to page 613. That's 613. If you need some time to get there, go ahead and pause the video, and you can unpause it when you're ready to move on. All right, so we have learned the past couple of classes about telling time to the hour and to the half hour using both analog and digital clocks. Today we're kind of going to combine all of that knowledge and we're going to practice how to tell time when we have to figure out what time it is, because it's been a little bit simple so far. We've learned all about how to tell time to the hour in one day. We've learned how to tell time to the half hour in another day. So we didn't have to really pay attention too much to that minute hand for the words. But today you really need to pay attention and be very careful. All right, so what we're going to do is on this first page, we are going to work on showing the time 1:30 on both of these clocks. And we're going to start on our analog clock over here. So 1:30. Now, when we tell time to the half hour, my hour hand does not go straight to the 1. It's going to go a little bit after the 1. So it's going to go in between the 1 and the 2. So I'm going to draw my small hour hand in between the 1 and the 2. Then my minute hand, if I'm doing 1:30, where does my minute hand go? Well, remember, each one of these numbers stands for 5 minutes. So let's count together. 5, 10, 15, 20, 25, 30. So my minute hand is going to point down to the 6, and it's going to be longer than my hour hand. So now on my clock, I have 1:30. Please make sure your clock looks like mine. Next, I'm going to write the time into my digital clock. So I'm writing 1:30. So my hour is 1. Oh my. Let's try that again. 1. And then 30 is my minutes. So I'm going to write 30 on the other side, on the minute side. So now both of my clocks, my analog and my digital clock, both say 1:30, or we could also say that as 1:30. Now let's turn over to our next page. Up at the top here, it's going to review the two different types of telling time that we've done so far. So this first one is telling time to the hour. So if I look at the hour hand, it's pointing straight to the 9. My minute hand is pointing straight up to the 12. So that is showing me that it is 9 o'clock. I'm going to trace that answer down here on my line. So please do that too. Oh my. 9. And then 2 zeros for o'clock. Now, if I come over here to this analog clock, I can see that this time my hour hand is pointing in between two numbers. It's pointing in between the 9 and the 10. So I have to think to myself, which number is smaller? The 9 is smaller, so it is 9. And then looking at my hour hand, or my minute hand is pointing down to the 6, and I know that that means 30. So my time is 9:30, so let's trace that. Okay. Now here's where it's going to start to get a little bit trickier, because first grade, what they have done today is they have given us the hour hand, but we need to draw in the minute hand for all of our clocks and then write the digital clock. So for number 1, they want us to show the time 11:30. Now they already have our hour hand in between the 11 and the 12, which is perfect. But where's our minute hand going to go for 11:30? Is it going to point up to the 12, or is it going to point down to the 6 for 30? It's going to point down to the 6. So let's get ready and draw our line down to the 6. All right. Then we have to write our time into our digital clock. So it is 11:30. Now that one was a little bit simple because they actually had the digital time written up there for us. The other ones are going to be in word form, which is going to make it a little bit trickier. So now let's look at number 2. It says 5:30. Okay, half past also means 5:30. So I have to think, where am I going to draw my minute hand? They already have my hour hand here. Where's my minute hand going to point? Is it going to point up to the 12 or down to the 6 for 5:30? It's going to point down to the 6. So I'm going to draw my minute hand pointing down to the 6. Then I'm going to write my time. I see 5. That's my hour. And then my minutes is 30. So I'm going to write 30 into my minutes side. It is 5:30. All right. Please turn to your problem-solving page. Number 9 says the hour hand is between 1 and 2. The minute hand is on 6. What time is it? Draw the hands on the clock. Okay, well, let's start to underline our important information first. So the hour hand is between 1 and 2. So I'm going to underline those numbers, 1 and 2. Then it says the minute hand is on the 6. Okay, so now I have my important information underlined. My hour hand is my shorter hand. And I'm going to make mine red. You're just going to use your pencil. But it says that it's in between the 1 and the 2. So I'm going to draw my small hour hand in between the 1 and the 2. Then it says the minute hand is on the 6. So my longer minute hand is pointing straight down to the 6. What time is it? All right, well, let's think. What time is it? Let's look. My hour hand is in between 1 and 2. I think to myself, which number is smaller, 1 or 2? 1 is smaller, so 1 is my hour. I'm going to draw my 2 dots. And then my minute hand is pointing straight down to the 6. That means I have 30 minutes. So my time is 1:30. All right. Number 10. It says the time on the clock is 1 hour after 2 o'clock. What time is it? Write the time and explain your answer to a friend. You can explain your answer to your parents or brother or sister after you finish. But we're going to look through this together. So let's see. It says the time on the clock is 1 hour. That's important. After 2 o'clock. We're going to underline those numbers or those number words. And then I'm actually going to circle a word. I am going to circle this word after, because that is really important. That tells me that I want an hour later. So now I have to think, what's 1 hour after 2 o'clock? Do 2 plus 1 more. What's 2 plus 1 more? 3. And then my minutes stay the same. So 2 o'clock, 1 hour later is 3 o'clock, which means I need 2 zeros on my minutes side. All right, first grade. Turn back to your independent practice. Now, each one of these is a different time. You're going to be in charge of drawing in your minute hand and then writing the time in the digital clock. So for number 3, they want you to show 3:30. Again, they already have that hour hand for you. You need to draw in the minute hand and write it in the digital clock. Number 4 is 9 o'clock. Look at those words, o'clock. That's going to tell you where your minute hand needs to go. Number 5 is 1:30. Number 6 is 8 o'clock. Number 7, it says write 2:30 on the clock. So you're going to write 2:30 on this clock. And number 8, you're going to write 6 o'clock on that digital clock. If you have any questions, let me know. Otherwise, I will see you tomorrow for math.